So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the today's lesson. Slightly different. Obviously, I'm at home and you're at home, but we're still going to be trying to get together a good lesson for you all today. There is the comments box down the side there, so you can make live questions and answers as you're going along. I've got my daughter with me as well today. She's going to be cooking along with us today, and we're going to be making a lasagna. We're going to be making fresh pasta, so we're going to be looking at the pasta skills that we did in the previous lesson. We're going to be looking at how to combine the liquid into the egg to develop the gluten from the gliding the gluten in to make a really stretchy pasta. Then we're going to be moving on from there, and we're going to be making the sauce. So we're going to be making a very basic Roux sauce to form the layers that we're going to put inside our lasagna. So that's how we're going to be doing it today. Any questions you've got for me, we'll run those just down the side. You've got the side piece there, which has got all the questions you can put on. So feel free to put them on there. Okay, so before we start, anyone got any questions before we start? We've got 1, 2, 17, 50. Oh, yeah, there we go. The whole class is coming on. That's brilliant. If you've got any questions, like I say, you can put them up there. I'll just show you where to. I'm on the live feed there. It says, no one's on there right now. Well, yeah, there we go. I post that one on there. So I'm live on there. You've got a live stream. Feel free to ask any questions. If you want to post any pictures of how yours are going, that's fine. You can post that onto our live feed of questions and answers on there as well. That's absolutely fine. As we're going along, videos or pictures will be great. Remember the normal rules, online rules. So I don't need to see yourself if you don't want to. It's just a picture of the food. And obviously, if you're in the kitchen and you're cooking today, can you please make sure that you have got a grown-up nearby and they know what you're doing in your kitchen, because we don't want to be catching anywhere on fire or hurting anyone. And on that point, we now need to get ready to go. So like my daughter here, you need to get your hair tied back. You need to think about Hattie here, hair tied back. You need your hands washed, your aprons on and ready to go. So I'm going to be doing the same thing as well. We need to go and get our hands washed, aprons on. So if you've got your aprons there, can you get those on? If you haven't got your hair tied back already, can you make sure you've got your hair tied back? And we will get ready to go. Let's just, we can have a literally, there we go. There we go. So today we are making lasagna. And that one on there. Just go back here. Sorry, let's do that. Click through that. So we are going to be learning objectives today, knowing the ingredients, practical techniques and equipment to create fresh egg pasta. You're going to understand the functions and properties of the ingredients. You're going to be creating fresh egg pasta, demonstrating preparing, shaping, cooking and presenting pasta. And we're going to add a sauce to that. All of you today should be able to produce the pasta, hopefully some good quality, even size pasta to go inside our dishes today. Now, before we start, remember Hattie, so you've got that on the screen there. Get ready for practical, so get yourself ready. So girls, can you go and get your hair tied back, your hats on, your hair, wash your hands, put an apron on, clean your table. If you need to clean your table, give it a quick wipe down, especially at the moment. And then we'll get the equipment and ingredients ready to go. It's a quick reminder of the equipment that you're going to need today. That's spoon, fork, rolling pin or a pasta machine if you have one of those at home, a saucepan, a frying pan, measuring jug would be great, but don't worry if you haven't got one. I'm not using one today. Wooden spoon and a cheese grater. Okay, going through for ingredients, just to make sure you've got them at hand. You need an egg and some flour for the pasta. For the sauces, for the sauce we're going to be making an onion, garlic, chopped tomatoes, tomato paste, Worcestershire sauce, some stock. For the roux sauce, you need some butter, flour, milk, and then to top it all off, we're going to use some cheese. So let's just go back to that. And you can watch this video at any point you want to today. That's absolutely fine. It will be available to watch today. Right, let's go back to me. Okay, so here I am. We're going to go down. So let's go and just got my apron on, ready to go. And let's go and take this over here. Now, remember to be washing your hands properly. So when we're washing our hands properly, we need to make sure that we are doing it for 20 seconds. Absolutely important at the moment. And make sure you are doing it properly. Okay, so not just, we need to wash it back and forwards, but let's go down the back of our hands, both sides as well, around those thumbs. Okay, right the way around. And don't forget the wrists as well. Okay, so make sure you've got everything done when you're washing your hands. And same again, warm water, middles, backs, backs, don't get the nails. There we go, thumbs all the way through, and we need to be properly washing that one. Lily, do you want to come and join in as well? You need to get your hands washed as well. Thank you. There we go. Nice warm water. Make sure that's all properly clean. That's mine done. Let Lily finish off doing hers. Hope you're all doing okay. Can everyone hear me? I can't see any messages on there. Is everyone all right to be able to hear me from there? There we go. You'll dry your hands off too. Okay, let's have a look. Make sure you are all there. Okay, I'm just going to come back to our work area down here to get started. Right. Right. Comments on there. No. Good. Yeah, as you said, if you've got any messages as you're going along, just let us know and I can answer those for you. I'm just going to write in there to make sure that everyone knows what we're doing. Good. This is how we do it. We just write it as we're going along. There we go. So you just follow on that one as well. Yeah, my parents are right. That's fine. If your parents aren't in at the moment, you can make notes as you're going along. That is absolutely fine, Holly. Don't worry about that. And then you can cook afterwards. Yeah, you can hear me. Thank you, Charlie. Brilliant. Good. Glad to hear it. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to get started. We're going to be starting by making the pasta first of all. So we're making. Going to start by making pasta. That's a request. First. Okay, pasta first. Oh, it's come up. Okay, there we go, pasta. Right, so what we're going to need for the pasta is, as we said before, like we did last lesson, 1 egg, and for every egg you need to get yourself 100 grams of flour. All right, so let's get on with that one. So Millie, you've got your egg there. Oh, good idea. So everyone can see what they've done. There we go. So we've got the egg and the flour there. Right, do you want to have a go with this? We need to get ourselves 100 grams of flour. So Millie, do you want to do that one? Remember, as we said before, we're going to be we want to try and help you out at home here. So if you haven't got scales at home and you're trying to work out what that is, we're just going to go try and do it as much as possible without scales, so you can do with whatever you've got at home, ingredients you've got at home. So we're just going to be weighing that. No, Millie's just done it there. It's two large handfuls of flour there. She's got there for 100 grams. Okay, if we need a little bit more flour, then we can play with another flour. If you want liquid, we can always put a little bit of oil in there or a little bit of water just to bring it all together. This is how we're going to do it now. Right, Millie, do you want to make a well in the middle there? So just make a little well like I did, let's say, last lesson we did this one. You just make a little hole in the middle there. Brilliant. Okay, and into that we're going to be putting our egg. Now, we talked about the pasta that you've got in the supermarket. That's probably just a liquid and flour, but that liquid is going to be like the water if you're finding it in the areas, in the non-fridged areas, non-dairy areas. But this one is a proper one. It's proper egg pasta. We'll think of all the vitamins and minerals we talked about inside the egg. This has got so much going for you in the fresh egg pasta. We're doing a traditional one. So let's make a little bit well in the middle. Okay, do you want to knock the egg in the middle there? We're going to just crack the egg into the middle there. Okay, and into the middle of your pasta there. Perfect, good. Right, and we're just going to get a little fork there, a knife there, a knife there. Scoop all of that together. I'm going to scoop it all together and just bring it all together. Now, if you want to do this inside a bowl, mixing bowl, that's fine. So I'm just trying to keep everything simple at the moment when we've got what equipment we've got and what everything we've got in the kitchen here. You're using your home kitchens, so just try and keep everything a little bit simple. So I'm doing this one on a chopping board just on the side here. Okay, you want to just stir all that together a minute. So we're just going to stir all of the ingredients together for the wet and the dry here and bring all of those ingredients in together. Now, some of you were saying last night, what about the flours? We've only got certain sorts of flour with this one. Ideally, I said before that you want to use something like a really fine 00 flour. Okay, that's the perfect one. You can use a bread flour. That would be fine. We're actually say we're just going to keep the basics there. So we've just got some basic plain flour we're using on this one, and that will suffice with what we're doing today to create yourself a very basic pasta to make up your very basic lasagna. So this will be a nice little dish for the family today. So Millie's just stirring all of that egg into the flour there, and just keeping to stir all of those bits in so they all come together, all combined together, all binding those ingredients together. Now, as we're doing that, we're making the flour wet. Right, here's a question. Is anyone very quick off the mark? When we make flour wet, we are combining two proteins, gliadin and glutenin, to make which protein? Who's going to be fastest off the ball here? Can anyone type that on the computer? Anyone going to do it? One. Let's have a look. Anyone coming up? Go on, Charlie, Holly. You got any ideas? What is it that we are combining when we do that? No, it's taking a while to type. I'll give you a couple of moments to type. So we're combining gliadin and glutenin. One is elastic, one is plastic. And as we combine those two, we're going to create a new protein, which is both elastic and plastic when we make the flour wet. Okay. And no, you're taking your time to do this one. So I'll tell you what that one is. It's gluten. So we're going to be making a gluten out of the flour that's in there. Now, there's already protein inside the egg as well. So it's going to be a lovely, rich protein pasta going on here. Right, I think we're there. Now, so we were guesstimating a little bit on the ingredients here, but 100 grams for one egg is what you should be doing. And since we have it at home, and we're playing and we're having a bit of guesstimate, we do need a little bit more flour in that. That's fine. And it will depend on the size of egg you've got as well. I mean, obviously, getting ingredients at the moment can be a little bit tricky. So we will try and work with you and make things easy, because we will create a nice food for you at home. And still have a cookery lesson, a practical lesson, even though you and me are not in school today. We can still do that one, have a bit of fun with it. So all I'm doing now is the next process to get those, as well as to make the flour wet to make gluten, you need to add some energy into it. You're going to be mixing kinetic energy into it. You're going to be kneading it. And as you knead it, you will develop those gluten proteins. So we're going to do a proper good knead of that. Now, you need to be doing this for about 5 minutes. So make sure you've got flour on your work surface and you're doing it properly. So to remind you on the kneading process, what you are doing is you're not tearing it, you want to stretch it. So using the palm of your hand here, and you want to use the heel of the palm of your hand. So you want to be using that part there, and you want to push into it, stretching it, and then pull back. So we're going to be pushing into the pasta, folding it back, and then again. And we're doing that process and keeping that regular as we start to work and knead this so it becomes elastic and plastic. With one egg and 100 grams of flour, you should be able to get, if it was depending on the flour, you should be able to get a couple of meters worth of pasta out. If it was a nice, strong pasta. We're just using a plain flour. Right, Millie, do you want to carry on with that one? We're just using a plain flour there. So by using a plain flour, we're not going to get quite as much out of it. We're going to get fairly decent pasta nonetheless. Now, I did say on the instructions, you don't need a pasta machine, and we talked about that previously in lessons. You can do it by hand. So if you've got a rolling pin, this is going to suffice to roll this out to make your lovely thin pasta. Alternatively, you can use a pasta machine. If you've got nothing else, you could use a bottle. A glass bottle would work to roll it out. Just we're going to use things that you might have in the kitchen. If you've got an oil bottle that's glass and it's got a good screw top that's not going to leak, you could use that to roll it with. Just be careful, but we want to roll it nice and thin, whether that's rolling using the 2 rollers of the pasta machine or using the rolling action of a rolling pin or a glass bottle. If it's a sturdy glass bottle, it's not leak, and you'll hurt yourself. Okay, so we're just going to move that down, get a lot of energy into it, keep stretching that one across the work surface. And as you start to do that one, your pasta dough, come into that, should start to bounce back there when you put your thumb in. Like I say, it should be elastic. So there are 2 properties, and those 2 properties are very much like you find in a balloon paired with some putty. A balloon, obviously, if you stretch it one way, it's going to be elastic, it's going to come back. If you put your finger in a little pot of putty, that's going to stretch, but it's going to come back to its original shape. So those are the 2 things we're doing. Okay, that's just coming together well. Not quite 5 minutes. We're coming together. I'm going to let you carry on with that one. Okay, while the pasta is being kneaded, we're going to let that to rest after we've done it, and we're going to carry on with the other bits. So while that's doing, let's get some of the other ingredients we need to work on. We're making 2 sauces today that are going to be sandwiched between our pasta sheets. So you're going to need to think about making those 2 sauces. The first sauce we're going to be making today is going to be a roux sauce, white sauce, but the fats, the flour, and the liquid. We're going to do it in the Roux method. So we're going to make a white sauce, a Roux method, and we're trying to make one of the 3 types of sauce. So the 3 types of sauce, as a reminder, we have got a pouring sauce, a coating sauce, and a binding sauce. That sounds like it's a panda sauce. It's not a panda sauce. It's a panada sauce. So they're the 3 sauces you need to know for GCSE. And the type of sauce we're going to be making is going to be the middle one. So we're going to be making a coating sauce today. So we're going to make a nice coating white sauce using the Roux method to make our middle sauce. The other sauce we're going to make is the one that you might consider like a ragu, tomato-y meat sauce. You can use any type of mince, as I said in the email when you were looking at ingredients last night. You can use any type of meat on this one. We're actually going to go with a vegetarian mince on this one for ours. So again, I don't want to be too prescriptive, while I know getting ingredients at the moment can be a little bit tricky. So we're not going to be too prescriptive on that one, but we're going to be using a veggie mince for ours. We put ours together. Right, that's come together nicely. It's a good kneaded dough. Is anyone else actually cooking along? I know a few of you are watching. Have we got any pictures of balls of dough that you want to post up on the side there? If you have, fabulous. We'd love to see them. I can have a look and see how your dough balls are going at the moment. Your pasta dough is going at you've been kneading yours too. That's ours. Ours is bright yellow. We've managed to get some eggs from the farm around the back here, and they are bright yellow eggs. Really intense coloured yolks there. And it's kind of a yellowy colour. Yours might be a slightly whiter version of that one. Absolutely fine with us. Okay, so we have got our pasta dough now. The next thing we need to do is we've got a time available today. It's a 2-hour lesson, although it probably is only going to end up being about an hour and a half today, because I haven't got all the toing and froing going around the whole classroom. So we'll probably only be about an hour and a half. We've got the first element. We've got some pasta. So the next thing we do is going to let that rest. So if you can get that in the bowl, just go and put that in the fridge for a moment. We're gonna put that in the fridge, just let it rest, and while we get onto the sauces. If you've got no space in the fridge, that's fine. You can leave it on the side, and we'll just put it into a bowl there with some clean film on the top to put that together. Fabulous, well done, Millie. Next one then, we're going to go with the white sauce. With both the sauces and the pasta, think about the size of dish you're going for as well. We've got a couple of sizes of dishes today. We're going to be trying to see if we might put some in there and get a really shallow one, or we might try a smaller one depending on how we go. So if you are doing a really big one, maybe twice as big as this, don't be afraid to multiply up the ingredients, double these ingredients. It's going to be 200 grams of flour, 2 eggs, with your pasta, and double up what we're going to be doing next as well when we come to doing our sauce. Now the sauce is going to be again fairly simple. We're going to, as far as measuring and putting that together, I want to keep it quite fluid and make it quite simple for everybody at home, not in the classroom. You're at your homes and I'm at mine. So let's move over to the hob. Now we're going to go into the hob. If you haven't got a grown-up with you, now I know there's 2 or 3 of you messaging to say that you haven't got your grown-ups with you and you're doing this later on. That is absolutely fine, okay? What I would do, we're obviously using the hob and we're going to be using the oven in a bit as well. Please make sure a grown-up is aware of what you're doing and you're working in a safe way that they're aware of. Okay? If they're not happy about that, that's fine. Wait till they come back later on today and then get on and do it together. Do a nice bit of family cooking as we're doing. Right. Okay, let's bring the camera over. So we're going to be using, going to be going over to the hob. We're going to be using a saucepan and spoon. We are going to, you could use a whisk if you've got a whisk, that would be great. Don't forget if you're using a whisk, think about the saucepan you've got. If you've got a non-stick pan, don't be using a metal whisk in it. If you've got a pan like this one, that'll be fine to use a whisk. We'll go and grab a whisk as well. You're going to need some more ingredients with us. We're going to need our milk. Again, I've just gone with basics today because it might be what you've got at home at the moment, given the shops. There's some UHT basic milk. We're going to got some butter in there as well. So there's my butter and the flour. And a spoon, please, yes. Okay, we're going to over to the hob here. Right, let's get this set up for you, so you can all see what we're all up to over here. Fabulous. Okay, so we're at the hob. We are going to be making our sauce. We're going to be making the first of our sauces, which is going to be our white sauce. To do this one, you're going to need your saucepan ready. Once you've got your saucepan, And so you can use a whisk or a wooden spoon with this one, whichever you prefer. Now we're going to be doing this in steps, and this is what the Roux sauce is about. Okay, so we're not going to be doing an all-in-one method, which could be an easy way of doing it, but you tend to get a slightly grainier texture and a slightly floury taste to it. We want to get the best quality white sauce we can get. You're in year 9, you know how to make a good sauce, so we want to try and aim for the highest level possible. You're not in year 7. But the girls at home, you're in year 9, you should be making a wonderful sauce. So we're going to be doing the Roux method. We're going to do it step by step, keep it all simple. And we don't necessarily use scales for this one. Keep it simple. So, 3 ingredients, as we said. We've got milk, flour, and some butter. We're going to start with butter. Okay, you're going to need to melt off 1 tablespoon of butter. It's just going to look so so you can see what you're doing. Actually, see over the hob. Keep safe on the hob. Okay, make sure you're knowing what you're doing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this one. Yeah, so you've got the spoon. See rolled up. Well done. Now you're going to be putting 1 tablespoon of butter into the pan. Okay, so if you want to go with that. So we put 1 tablespoon of butter into the pan, and this is then making a small amount. If you want to get more, you can always double this. All these ingredients. And we want equal quantities of fat and flour going into this. Start with the fat. You want to be melting the fat off. So we'll put that metal spoon away. Let's go on to. We're going to be melting the fat. Now remember, pan handles. Pan handles shouldn't be over the top of your hob. Okay, they should be over the top of your work surface. So to make sure that you've got that on the top of your work surface. Clear the work surface down. Make sure that's there so you're not going to burn your hands. Okay, if you leave it on the front here, you might knock into it. It's going to hurt you. You leave it on over the sides. If you've got heat on any of those sides, it might heat up the handle and then it's going to burn you. So let's just keep that one over the works. Right, turning the heat on. We want it onto a low to medium heat there. And you want to stir it and watch it. Now with the butter, it's really important that we make sure that when we're melting the butter, we don't let it burn. We don't want it to burn. We don't want it to be forming a brown sauce with this one. We want to keep it a nice white sauce. So you just want to keep it turning. Remember, you are in control of the heat at all times. Heat is not in control of you. So when we're doing this one, if you think you're nearly there, just turn the heat off, take the pan away from the heat, put it on another spare hob that's not on. You don't let it burn, you just want it to be nicely melted off. Otherwise, you've got a different sort of sauce altogether, and the taste will be like a nuttier taste, and we don't need this particular sauce. Just want a lovely white sauce using the Roux method, and we make a lovely coating sauce. Pouring or a panada. And panada is the other name for a much thicker sauce. Coat. Sorry, we want a coating, not a pouring. Me getting confused. Start again. We want don't want a pouring today. We want a coating. We don't want a binding for panada sauce. That makes sense. I just confused you. Nice coating sauce. Okay. So and a white sauce. Right, okay, we are melting it. Is that melting off, Billy?
Yeah.
Okay. We nearly all melted there. So we want equal quantities. So how much butter do we put? 1 tablespoon. So how many tablespoons of powder? Absolutely. So well, if you're doing this along at home, that's the same again. So let's just come to the edge of the heat. We can now take that off the heat. Move it. I'll take it off the heat. Move it to the back. Turn it down a moment. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so we've just melted that off. If we just show that up to the camera, if you want to bend the camera down, there we go. Just see that that's just melted off in there. Perfect. Right. So we got our butter melted off in there. The next thing we're going to do is going to now, the heat is off. So we've taken the heat off, pan, we've just got the melted butter in there. Okay, spoon again. So you're now going to put in a spoonful of the flour. Alrighty, and then we can stir that one in again. Okay, so we've now got the flour. It's just being stirred in, really just stirring the flour in. And as she stirs the flour in, it's going to form yourself a really pasty-like consistency. Like a gluey paste is what we want to do. If it's not, we put a little bit more flour in. Imagine we'll sprinkle a little bit more in. We're looking for a slightly grainy paste in this one. I think the first spoonful she put in there may not have been quite as heaped as the butter was, spoonful of butter. Now, why are we putting these different ingredients in here? So the flour in these sauce here is going to form the nice thickness to the sauce. This is going to do what we call gelatinize the sauce. What's going to happen is the starch inside the flour is going to expand. It's going to take water as it's heated, take water or liquid as it's heated up. In this case, we're not using milk. Use water if you run out of milk, that's absolutely fine. So the starch is going to expand inside the liquid. It's going to take on board that liquid, and then eventually that starch is going to burst. They're going to burst over, releasing amylose and amylopectin into our mixture and thicken our mixture, which is called gelatinization. That gelatinization will give us that lovely, wonderful. That's fine. Too liquidy for you? Okay, let's have a look. That's fine. All right. Next time, a big spoonful. If you're using a big spoonful of butter, use a big spoonful of flour. That's perfect. Okay, it's just like being in the classroom. I'm going to just show you again. Do you want to move the camera on there, and I'll just show the rest of the class. So that's, so you can see we've got a kind of a paste going on there. That's the right consistency for you. Well done, Nick. So we've got a nice consistency. Right, so we've got a nice paste going on there. We're going to return it to the heat now, and as we return it to the heat, we're then going to add the milk. Now, the milk we are gradually going to add when it's back on the heat. We're gradually add it, just a couple of tablespoons at a time, pouring it in, and as we do that one, we're going to keep stirring it and keep adding the milk, and we're going to form ourselves a lovely sauce. Now, to start with, you're going to think it's way too watery. That's absolutely fine, and it's going to start to thicken as the more liquid we put in, and the more heat we put in. That heat's going to expand those starch molecules inside the starch beads inside the flour. As they expand, they'll take on board that liquid. So all of a sudden, bang! They're going to burst. You're going to end up with beautiful, lovely, rich white sauce, and it'll have a lovely shine lip from the butter in there as well. Okay, so that's what we're going to be aiming for. So, Millie, just a couple of tablespoons at a time. Let's start with a couple of tablespoons in there. Just going to pour the milk in. Okay. Just turn the heat on now. Okay. All right, I'm going to start to stir that, and as you're stirring that, I'm going to add a little bit more milk as we go. Okay. There we go. Just keep stirring that one. A little bit more milk. So we're just adding about equivalent to a couple of tablespoons at a time as we stir it, and we'll just add a little bit more milk. A little bit more butter, a little bit more milk, sorry, to the butter and flour. There we go. Starting to get creamy consistency. Like I said, if you're running out of milk, that's fine. If you're limiting yourself on the milk, water will work with this, and you'll just end up with a different flavour of this. It won't be quite as rich in flavour there, but it'll work just as fine in the lasagna we baked today. Just coming together, sort of looking a little bit like porridge at the moment, isn't it? So we'll just add a little bit more milk into that again. Let's show everyone on the camera where we're up to. So it doesn't, at the moment, it looks more like a lumpy custard, which is not where we want it to be, but it will end up being beautiful. Okay. Do you want to carry on doing with that one then? Okay. So we're just carrying on stirring that one up. We're just going to keep adding the heat to it. So gelatinization. So gelatinization starting at around about 60 degrees when you start to see expansion, and as those starch molecules begin to expand, they've got nowhere to go. They start getting close to each other and absorbing more, and so we end up with something that is getting thicker and thicker and thicker until it eventually bursts. Gelatinization, a good thickening starts at around gelatinization starts at 60 degrees, starts to thicken around 80. Full gelatinization doesn't occur until 2 degrees. So when we're looking at scientific terms, gelatinization, one of your key GCSE terms, gelatinization is a full gelatinization at 100 degrees. Okay, that's just starting to simmer around the outside, isn't it? I think we can just get a little bit more milk in there. It's still looking a little lumpy. Keep this one. It's a gradual process. It's a bit like when we made the pasta originally. It's a gradual process. It's not we got loads of time. Got all day. You're not in school today. That's fine. So you can have a go at this one and just keep stirring it. Don't stop stirring it. It's important. We don't want it to. We don't want it firm. We don't want it to stick together really well now. Okay, keep stirring that one. If you want to, like I say, you can get a whisk because this isn't stainless steel pan. Do you want to have a go at whisking that one up? Yeah. And I'm just going to get all of that starch. We want it to burst and form our lovely creamy white sauce there. Excellent. So the sauce we're going to be doing over here, we're going to be returning to Hob in a moment when we make the second sauce after we've chopped up our vegetables. So we're going to be doing starting with the onion and garlic on there. Is that sauce yet? Is that coming together? Let's have a look. That is a lovely sauce. Yep, that is coming together really nicely. So we got a beautiful sauce there. Show that on the camera there. There we go. Got a beautiful sauce coming together there. That's looking really creamy and lovely for our sauce. Well done, Lee. That's good. That's all burst. There's no lumps in there. We're happy that is nice. You want to check whether it's the right consistency. You can always have a look at the back of the spoon. Is it sticking to the back of the spoon? It is at the moment. So we've got a nice consistency going on there for our sauce, all ready to put together into our lasagna. Compositing up one after the other, layer after layer after layer. Fabulous. We can turn the heat off that one. We're going to let that one cool down for a moment. And we're going to return back to the table where we're going to look at doing the onion garlic. Okay, so go back to the table and we're going to, as if by magic, nice clean chopping board. Right, so we need to start thinking about chopping up the onions and garlic. So we've got some onion and we've got garlic. Now, when we did this before, we did it in school. We've done some large white onions. Got purple at the moment. Just get what you can get in the shops. At the moment, we want to, so don't worry about that. We've got onion and we've got a garlic. We need to just go through our knife cutting skills. Big preparation knife cutting. Garlic. There is our onion for you. Okay. Now, if you just we want to have a look on the recipe, I'll say I'll post the recipe next to it, but just to let you know where we're up to on the recipes, in case you were wondering. Let's go flip back to the recipes. We'll do that one. Between the two. Okay, so on the lasagna recipe, where we're up to at the moment, the lasagna recipe is there. Then that let's see that one on there. So at the moment on there, we've made the white sauce. So we've actually skipped the other way around. We've done 4, 5, and 6 on there. And on step number 4, we can see we melted 30 grams of butter. That we added 30 grams of plain flour. And then gradually whisking that together to make a roux. And as we're whisking it, we're adding the milk and bringing it to the boil there for step 6. Now we're going to move back and we're going to do step 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll combine both the first, the meatier sauce, and the ragu sauce, tomatoey sauce, don't have to have meat in there, and the white sauce, and we're going to be putting that with the pasta. So that's where we're up to at the moment. If you want to look at the recipe that we sent out last night, so you're seeing where we're up to. I will also put on there the recipe for the pasta making, just so you've got that on there. There's the pasta making on the screen there as well now. The pasta making here, I've said too, we just use one. Like I said earlier, you can double up this recipe very easily with Italian pasta, and you can make it into all sorts of pasta. So we've just making into lasagna sheets today, but there's on the recipe cards here, it not only shows you how to make it with or without a pasta machine, but it also shows you how to make a tagliatelle there and move on at the very end, which you can use with or without a pasta machine. So that's steps 8, 9, and 10. We are just going to get down to, for our pasta, step number 7. You see, we've already combined the eggs at the top there, step 1. We stirred all that together, gently stirred all that together. We kneaded it, step 4 to 5. And then currently we're on step 6 there, where we have wrapped the pasta in film, and it is now resting. So just to get the, where we're up to going back to the recipe. Okay, we're now going to go to doing our onions and garlic. Okay, so we're now going to move on to the onion and garlic. Now, to cut yourself an onion. Now, here's a little bit of a tip. So, for those who haven't seen it before, I'm sure I've shown you before in the past, but I'm going to think of an onion in a certain way so that we don't fry, and that way is the width. So, so if you think of your onion as a witch, there we go. There is our onion on the board, and see she has got a magic hat on the top there. Here she is. This is also witch. Those people at home who maybe younger brothers and sisters or parents there, and you're thinking, what is Mr. Man talking about? Let me explain how this works. If you think of your onion here as that witch, we have got to cut the onion without frying. Using that analogy can help us a little bit. So I'll show you what we mean by that. We've got the witch here, and she's got a pointed hat, as we said, which is the top of your onion, and she's got her straggly feet, which is the rooty part of the base there. The part that's going to make you cry is this little bit down here. It's there, down at the base, down at her smelly feet at the bottom there. That is going to make you cry. So we need to try and not go near those smelly feet. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to, first of all, we're going to make one cut that will do that, and then after that we won't do any more. Here we have our onion. We're going to be using bridge and claw with this one. Remember, that is a bridge. See the train going through the bridge. Okay, no cutting fingers there. That's the bridge. Bridge. Claw. Put your thumb right back, fingers over the top, and that will form what we're going to cut against in a claw. So the blunt side of our knife resting up against. There are two cuts. Right, let's do this one. So the first one we use is a bridge. Hold the witch by her tummy, and not by the pointed hat, not by the roots. We're going to hold it by the tummy. When we're holding it by the tummy, we're then going to get the knife. We're going to put the knife through the bridge, and we're going to slice down to the bottom, keeping the two parts of the onion as close together as possible. Nice, still kept together, okay, but cut through the middle. Now, the next bit, very, very quickly, we need to separate the witch. Very, very quickly, before there's any chance of any of that horrible stuff coming out the other side. It's going to react, oxidize, it's going to create yourself gas there. It's going to fry. So we need to make sure that we're not doing that. Okay. So now we've got the onion there into two halves. We've done the bridge. We're now going to go onto the claw. So I'm going to put the claw on the middle of where her tummy is, and I'm going to take the witch out. Because normally you'd expect if so you go hit a massive chainsaw through the middle of a witch, she should be dead. Unfortunately, no. She is a witch. She has this magic pointed hat on the top. You can just see it there behind me. We need to get rid of that first to actually get rid of this witch. All right, so we're going to do that now. I'm going to put our claw on the top. I'm going to slice the top witch's hat. Same with the other side. All right, witch's hats removed. Okay, so we now need to move on to the next part. We can put our knives down now, leave that on the side, the back, and we're now going to remove the skin. Bit of medieval torture here. Draw and quarter this. Now we're going to skin the witch alive. So keeping the onion flat on the board, they are flat on the board, Millie. You need to start from where you chop the hat off and try and pull back the skin while it's flat on the board, bring it back right the way back. Now if it comes off like Millie's did there, don't worry. If it stays on, that's fine as well. Just try and pull back that outer layer of skin. That will reveal a really glossy inside. And I'm going to keep my hand on this very quickly, but if I hold that up to the camera, what you'll be able to see is your next cutting line. Well, if I show you that on the camera, you might just be able to see with the glinting of the light there are lines running down now the onion. Okay, all running down the onion. That is your next cutting line. That is what you should be cutting down next. So, placing that right back work surface, we're now going to cut down. But we're not going to cut all the way down to the bottom where her feet were. Let me explain again. So going back to our drawing, first thing we do, we're going to chop her right down with that number. Number 2, that's number 1, and that's with a bridge. Number 2, we're going to go across this way. Take off the hat. That's what we're going to do. Once we've done that, we've got bridge, floor. Once we've done that, we're going to end up with what's left with a. We're going to end up with an onion that looks a little bit like that. That's taken off. Feet are still under there, and then all the other skin. With those halves, we're then going to cut down the onion lines. We're not going to go right to the base. Okay, so we're not going to go to the base. We go down there. Then we're going to cut the opposite direction. Again, we're not going to go right to the base. That base is where it's going to make us fry. Now, this time of when we need to be thinking about our food waste, you might be thinking, well, what's going to happen to this bit down here? Am I going to end up wasting it? No, not at all. What we can do, especially at the moment, I say when we're thinking about where the food comes from and where we're going to be getting food and food provenance and food sustainability, we need to think about things like that. But what you can do is get the base of that onion, put it in a little jam jar with water, and let it root, and let actually you can grow some more onions. Yeah, get them planted outside, so we've got more onions in the future. So practically, how we're going to do this? Now you can do one. Do you want to grab yourself a knife as well? You can have a go with this one. So we're going to take a half each, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go down one way. So we'll start with the bridge, then we'll go crawl. We'll go the other way. Yeah, that's fine. So we're holding it like a bridge, back feet all the way around. So, like that. Form your bridge. You're going to slice down, but not all the way to the base, doing lots of lines down there. I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to do a bridge. Do this for the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do the bridge, and I'm going to cut down many of those lines possible. Not going all the way to the base. Just going to cut down them. There we go. Perfect. You've got a few. Wonderful. Now, the next thing, holding it together still and keeping it flat on the board so none of those awfully gases come up and make us cry, which we don't want. I'm going to cry. No. We're going to cut it the other way. So we've done a bridge. So what's next? So done right back, fingers over the top, base, and then we're going to slice across. Now, it will try and fan out. It's going to be a bit tricky. We're going to both cut along there, slice up our onion really small. Let's slice that from there. So you pull your onion chopped up. Perfect. Now the basic bit, we need to go and get that one put somewhere safe for growing later. We don't want it on the work surface. If it's going to be staying here, you will start to fry. So you want to go and get this boat put over there, it's under the sink. Get it in. Yeah, that's perfect. So we can use that one for later on. Okay, so we've got our onion, which is there. Our onion is in a nice big pile of chopped onion. Now the onion, because we've chopped one way and then we've chopped the other way, is ending up forming a square cuboid. It's a cuboid with 6 sides. Sometimes it has spots. Shape them again. squares on each side. Squares, dots all over it. No. Board games, you take it. Might have a couple of them. Dice, there we go. So that is your dice cut there. So it's a cuboid 6 sides, and we've got a dice there. So we've just diced up our onion. Nice. Now with the onion, we want to put a bit of garlic in as well. And if you've got garlic sauce instead of garlic, fine. And I'd say ingredients wise, we need to be careful with what we got and keep on it. If you've got garlic, brilliant. If you've got garlic clove. Garlic, same family as the onion. We need to take paper off the outside, the skin off the outside in the same way. And we need to chop it up teeny tiny small. Well, what are we going to do? Well, with the garlic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just taking off top and tail it. Okay, I've just top and tailed it. There we go. Now, I'm going to use put my hand on the blunt side of the knife. Okay, so I've got the blunt side of the knife, just there, right, top side, and then the blunt side. With my hand on the blunt side, I'm going to put it on the top of the garlic, and I'm going to squeeze it down. There we go. Just squeeze it down into a crunch. And once you've done that, you should very easily be able to just pull paper off that. That one, the skinny part outside, and then we're going to just chop that one up teeny tiny small. So we're going to do teeny tiny little bridges. We've got teeny tiny little. We're going to do a teeny tiny little bridge. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to do a teeny tiny little claw. So teeny tiny little claw. I'm going to slice it away. Okay, knife cutting skills done. We've now got our nice little pile of garlic and onion ready to fry it off. Now, we're not going to fry them. We're going to do something called saute. We talked about this one previously in class, but saute is coming from the French, meaning dancing in the pan. Your onion and garlic are going to dance in the pan. We don't want them to be browning. We want them to be softened, nicely softened. If they do go to browning, it's fine. But we just want to try and soften them up. We don't want to, certainly don't want to burn them. So we're going to do that next. We're going to go and take those over. We've got plates. Fabulous. We're going to put the onion and garlic onto the plate. Let's get that one onto the plate. There we go. And we're going to be putting those ones into the frying pan. So we'll take those ones over. A little bit of butter, a little bit of oil in the pan, just so that we don't end up burning. The oils don't burn as well. So put a little bit of both in, just into the pan, and we're going to keep it moving. So we're going to be, that's where the saute, the dancing part comes from. So we're going to soften those up. Now, in with that, we just return very quickly back to the recipe. If we just go on there we go. Okay, so you can see on the recipe there, chop and fry the onions, crush the garlic. Okay, so we're going to got those two, and then we're going to add the mince from step one. So we got some mince there. We're going to stir in a couple of tablespoons of tomato puree. We got some 400 grams of tomatoes to go in with that, and some Worcestershire sauce. Now, I know that again, tomatoes is one of those ones where it can be a little bit tricky. There we go. Let's go back to you. We know that tomatoes are one of those ones that can be a little bit tricky. So fine. Let's go with what we got. If you've got tomato passata, that's fine. If you've got chopped tomato, that's going to be fine. If you've got just tomato paste, that's fine. So we've got all we could get in the shops was a tomato puree in a jar. You might be able to get it in tubes. Normally we get it in tubes, but we're going to make do at the moment. We can use what's in the store cupboard. And have time with that. And we've actually got one tin of tomatoes there. We've got a few which we kept back. We've got a couple we got there, so we're going to use one tin of tomatoes with that. Okay. So we're going to go over to the hob, back over to the hob. We'll take our onions with us, and we'll go and take our garlic with us. And we're going to go back to that. Okay. Let's go back over here. Right, back to the hob. So we're going to be using the frying pan now. We've got our mince there, our Worcestershire sauce, our tomatoes. That's brilliant, really well done. And we've got, grab that, there. Tomatoes we've got there, brilliant. I'm just going to remove our white sauce, so that's out of the way. That was our white sauce from earlier. Got a lovely white sauce there. Remove that one out, just out of the way for the moment. and we'll go back to the frying pan. In this frying pan, we're going to be putting a little bit of oil. So we'll just grab a little bit of oil in there. Just press that one. You can dry fry it if you want, and if you are using oil, obviously the best sort of oil is an olive oil, but go with what we can get at the moment. Into there, just turn the heat on there, and then once that's just heated up for a minute, we'll just get the garlic and onion on the go there as well. So let's just brown. Right, so the heat's just there, nearly there. Just check that that's okay. Again, normal things apply. Make sure you've got a grown up. They know what you're doing. If you haven't got a grown up there and they're happy with what you're doing, and with the pan handles, make sure this pan handle is not pointing out where you're likely to hurt yourself. It's not pointing over one of the other rings that might be around the outside, but we want to try and keep it just over the work surface. All right, so the garlic, the oil's nicely heated up now. Let's go and get those in there with the fats. We're just going to stir all of those in. So we've got your onion and your garlic in there. So we're on the third part now. We're on the final bit. We've done the white sauce, we've done the pasta, although it still needs to be rolled out, and we're now going to work on the ragu or the meat sauce, depending on what you're going to be going on this. And this is a very forgiving sauce, as you've probably seen from other types of sauces before. You can do a lot with this. A bit like a curry, you can be very forgiving. So it's a great one to use up still covered foods that you've got. So you could try and get some carrots in there. If you've got tinned carrots, you want to mush them up instead of tomato. That would work. You just end up with a different sauce, but you could use that one to form this part of it. You don't need to use meat in it, so we're going to be going with a meat-free mince here. So we'll be pouring that meat-free mince into this one. So we've got your onions and garlic now softening up. Keep them stirring, keep them moving, because we don't want them to fry. Don't forget you're in charge of the heat, so just turn down the heat a little bit. If you think it's spitting a little, if you think it's getting a bit untoward, turn down the heat. Or if it's not, just literally move it off the heat, so you're in control of that heat at all times. So now what's happening in here is we're starting to saute off the onion and garlic. We're going to soften them, which is great, because we need them nicely softened. If they do start to turn a little brown, we've got a bit of caramelization going on there. The natural sugars that are inside our fruit and vegetables heating up like that, and they're caramelizing. They're turning into new sugars as we turn it brown, giving them a sort of sweeter taste to them. The sort of thing we might do if we were wanting to make a red onion soup or a French onion soup. French onion soup would be a lovely one to do. It's a high-level dish. We could combine it with something like a homemade bread with a little bit of cheese on it, sliced up, protein on the French onion soup. Be a really nice little piece of nice dish there. Okay, AQA says that it's a good high-level dish when you do that one with the French onion soup with the bread on the top, the homemade bread. Combining a few different skills there. You've got the vegetable preparation with the knife cutting. You've got obviously making it up. You're reducing down and making that up into the French onion soup, and then obviously get your bread making going on the top. You could include it even more by making your own cheese, and that would really up your skills. Okay, nicely sautéed off there now, softened. How do you know if it's softened up? You don't want to get your fingers in there. The onions will start to go a little bit more translucent, a bit like tracing paper on the top. That would be great. Okay, so we've got that one going on there. Brilliant. So we've got those nicely softened, and to that, we're now going to add some of the other bits and pieces we're going to put in. So to that, we're going to add our mince. So we're going to put in our mince into there. Whatever mince you're using or not using, you don't have to. They can bulk it out. Maybe you want to put in some mushrooms into this, sliced up very small and now at this point. You could do that. That would give you a very high level of protein without putting the meat in as well. And like we know, we should all be eating a lot less meat. The government said that we should be eating about 20% less meat at the moment. So we're just going to put into our sauce. Brilliant. In we go with that. Add all of that in, stir it all in nicely. Brilliant. All right. So can we show everyone what we're up to on there? If you want to just move down. Oops. There we go. That's where we're up to at the moment. Fabulous. Well done, Minnie. So we've got that nicely done now. So we've got that reducing off. They have sauteed off really nicely. We've got the meat in there that's done really nicely as well. In this case, if it's a meat-free, we've done the meat-free vegetarian corn based food. But you could go, if you're doing meat, obviously you need to make sure it's at the proper temperature. So if you are using a beef meat, will probably be a more traditional ones to use. Putting in there, make sure that it's fully cooked through. And then when you're doing that, if you've got one, it's always advisable to use your temperature probe in there to check that the meat's got to 75 degrees or above, so all those nasty bacteria that could cause you a stomach upset or problems for food poisoning are going to be dead, and you're not going to cause you those problems. So if you're using meat, and let's say traditionally beef would be one to use. You can use anything you've got to hand at the moment when we're at these times of which it's hard to find food. Any type, but just if you're using a meat, make sure you get to that golden 75 degrees or above. Okay, the Lawson is slightly lower, but if we go 75 or above, we know we're going to be at a safe point to go for. Okay, that's nicely cooked up, and our meat alternative there is a browning as well. So I don't need to do the temperature probe on there. We're quite happy that that's gone where it needs to go. Now we need to bulk that out. We're making a sauce here, so we're going to bulk that one out. We're going to be putting in the tomatoes next. And we're going to pour in the chopped tomatoes. We've got 400-gram tin of chopped tomatoes going into this one. We're going to pour that one in ever so slowly. It's a hot pan, so gradually pour that one in. There we go. If it's starting to spit, if it's too hot, turn the temperature down. Remember, you are in control of the temperature. You can move it, or just move it to the side. Okay, do you want to stir that in so that's all combined? So we've now got yourself a tomato in there, your onion, your garlic, and as you know, how many fruit and veg you need to be having a day? How many fruit and veg do you need a day? 5 fruit and veg a day. So you got a couple of them going into here straight away. Feel free to add more. So you could put, I'd say, tins of chopped tomatoes. Chopped tomatoes can obviously go in there. But why not put in tins of chopped carrots? You could smash those up, go in there. Sliced up mushrooms go in there, go really nicely in there to thicken that up. Okay, back onto the heat again. Now we're reducing this down now to make a reduction sauce. So we're reducing this one down because we want to get some of the water that's in that tomato to reduce down, thicken. And as we reduce it down, it's going to intensify the flavour of this as well with us. So other things we can also do to thicken it. We've got some tomato paste there. Yep. So if we put in a little teaspoon of that in there, or a couple of teaspoons or a tablespoon of that in there, that would be fine. Yeah. Okay, write that one in there. All right, fabulous. We'll just stir that one through with a wooden spoon there. Brilliant. Stir that one up. And now to add a little bit more intensity of flavour, I always like to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce as well. Obviously, it's not one if you're vegan, vegetarian. It is made. Do you know what it's made of? Yeah, do you want to know what it's made of? Sure. I'll tell you what, I'll put it in first and I'll tell you what it's made of. A couple of little drops of Worcestershire sauce in there. There we go. So, pickled up dead fish. Yeah. Yeah. People don't seem to realise that, but Worcestershire sauce gives it a really umami flavour, real savoury intensity to the flavour, which I really like. But that's always quite nice. Don't need to put it in if you don't want to. That's absolutely fine. Season it with something else. Put some herbs in there if you want to, other spices. Spice-wise, ones that I like to put in pretty much everything. A little bit of paprika as well gives it a nice. That's the paprika. That's the one. Pringles flavouring. That one really nice. So let's get a little bit of that in there as well. A bit of paprika in there as well. A little bit in there. Oh, any one of those. Paprika in there as well. That's okay. Right, stir that one up. Okay, and we're just going to turn the heat up a little bit. Bring it up to a simmer, and then we'll reduce it back down again. So it's just coming up, and that will be the next part of our sauce to go into our lasagna. And you could use this same sauce to make yourself a spaghetti bolognese if you wish to. Same situation. Yeah, we go. Well done. Shut the camera. If you wanted to, that's absolutely fine. We're just going to reduce that down. And I'd say if you want to play with your own spices in there, if there's a particular spice that your family likes, try and stay clear of pepper and salt. Well, salt in particular, salt's not good for the heart, so you need to be reducing what you put into the food. Salt, and this doesn't need any salt get yourself enough spices in there, put yourself a little bit of Worcestershire sauce in there if you want to. I've heard of people putting Marmite and all sorts in. Yeah, I know. Putting you either love it or you hate it. But that will add a umami flavour to it. Again, that'll give you that savoury flavour to this one. It'll give you that intensity of flavour. But it's going to help along the intensity you get when you reduce down this sauce as it starts to steam off. You can see that steaming off there, reducing the water, bringing all those flavours into a more concentrated format to give you a beautiful sauce. Well done. Okay. So we've got the 3 elements now ready to go and combine. We've got the pasta, which we're going to roll out. We've got the white sauce, which we've done, and we've got our meat sauce. So you should be, if you're following this one and doing it at the same time, don't get these videos. You can pause at any point if you want to. If you want to increase the volume, decrease the volume, pause it, go back. You can do that one. Although I'm doing it live now, the link will enable you to go back and go over these at any point, so you can have a practice of making your own ones. With the year 11s, we tried a few different ways of doing our putting this final piece together. And what we did is we looked at trying to combine things in a slightly different way. So I'll let Millie, while Millie's just finishing off that. So a few things you could do with this one is that you could actually get the individual parts, cook them individually, and then stack them. So we could, I'm just going to go back to the table here. You could end up doing it that way, and you'll end up with a different format. You'd be looking at a slightly different format. You can end up with some really nice looking presentations with it. So what we've done with some of our year 11s, they cooked up the individual parts and kind of like deconstructed the lasagna and then put it back together again. So what they did was they cut the circles, cut little circles or squares of pasta. Then they cooked those. And then obviously the white sauce is cooked already, and the Ragu sauce or the red or the meat sauce or whatever you want to call that other piece that you've made, depending on what you put into it, that sauce, that's already cooked as well. And then they on plating up, they put a spoonful of one sauce, then they put the lasagna sheet, spoonful of the other sauce, then a lasagna sheet, and so on. Finished it off with a little bit of cheese on the top, and then since everything was cooked, they then put it under the grill and got a lovely, nice stack of deconstructed and then reconstructed lasagna effect on the top. It looked really, really nice. So you can construct these in a number of different ways. We're just doing it in a very traditional way here. We're going to get it into a baking tray, an oven-proof baking tray, and we're going to stack everything up. Layer one, then layer the next, then layer the next. Put it in the oven, cook it, and have some nice food for lunch or dinner. Is it going to be lunch or dinner? This is going to be dinner. So it's going to be dinner for us. Okay, let's move on to doing that then. So we'll get the pasta out. And then if you want to switch the heat off now with that one, that's good. And we're going to go and get our pasta out. I'm going to roll that one out for us. So pasta actually does that one. Get that out of the fridge. Yeah, got that one. Okay, so we're just going to get the different elements together. Now, if you say at this point you've got a pasta machine, great, you can use the pasta machine and put that one together. There we go, is that coming off? Just cleaning down the board. Don't forget to anti-back or cleaning down as you go along today. We're just cleaning down the board, and we've been working on. That's great, wonderful, excellent. That's good. That's good. Wonderful, wonderful. Just open those as well. Right. No questions so far. I can't see any. Oh, we have got 7 questions. Right, let me go through these questions. Sorry, I've been chatting away and not looking at myself. Right, looking at these. So I don't have any eggs at the moment. I was just going to use normal pasta sheets. Yeah, absolutely fine. That's no problem at all. Isabel, if you've not got pasta, if you've not got any eggs to do pasta minute, that's fine. That would be absolutely quite cool. Not far from where we live, the farm on the back of us, they've got stacks of eggs at the moment, literally to the ceiling. So maybe not just go to the supermarket, but some of the local farms and see if they've got some eggs. We were amazed by how many eggs there is. But yes, Isabel, that is absolutely fine. Dry pasta lasagna sheets are going to work perfectly well. Right, let's have a look at some of these other questions we had coming down. When should we preheat the oven? That is exactly what we're about to do now. Thank you, Poppy. We are going to do that one. You could have preheated it from the beginning if you want to, depending on the sort of oven. Some people have recut. Somebody has got an Arga. that's going to need to be preheated pretty early on in the game. Some of them need to obviously stay on the whole time, but if you've got a new modern oven, 5-10 minutes of preheating is going to do the trick. So before we start, we're just about to put everything together. So if you can get the oven on now, that would be absolutely great. If I just go pop back to the recipe for you here, I'm just going to go to the recipe for you and send that live to you. Here we go. So this one we're looking at preheat the oven to gas mark, which should be 180. I don't know why it says 4 on there. That should be 6 on there. So 180 gas mark 6 will be absolutely fine. And we're now going to start to construct it, layer everything up. Let's go back to okay. So we're now going to layer up the pasta. So we're going to do everything. So we've got our pasta ready. We've got our sauces ready. Do you want to, as Poppy just said, you want to just go and preheat the oven, Lily? Yeah. So she's just going to get up there and preheat the oven. While I go through the rest of the questions before we start putting this together, and while we are preheating the oven. Charlie, have we added the cheese to the sauce? No, not yet. You can do. You can add it to. You can add the cheese to the sauce as you're going along. If you want to, the white sauce, you can grate yourself a little bit of cheese in there. I've suggested on the recipe when we said about 25 grams of cheese. So you put a little in the sauce and a little to save for the top. Okay, if you're struggling with cheese, fine. Okay, it will work without cheese. So we've got some cheese here. We've got a cheese grater. So we're going to do that one. In fact, Millie, while I finish off the rest of these questions, do you want to start grating that one up? Yeah, that would be good. So we've got cheese grater there. We've got our cheese. Unless you've obviously got pre-grated cheese, then you know we go with what we can get at the moment. There we go. You want to do right. Thank you for that, Charlie. If you wanted to, you can put it in now. You can put it in as you're doing. That's fine. Isabel is the only thing right. The lessons. So good point, Isabel. Obviously you've got the streamed one here to be making it, and I want to see that you've done this. Okay, I'd like to see photos or little videos, and we'll post them, and then we're going to get them onto the school website. If you looked at school Facebook, if you looked at Facebook from yesterday, my lessons yesterday from all different kitchens around the region were on Facebook. So if you can get the photos to me before the end of today, that would be great, and we'll get them on the school Facebook of what you've been cooking around the region, which is great to let everybody know. So this is one of the things for today, Isabel. Now we've got some single lessons before half term, although school's obviously going to be going down a little bit from Friday. So I have put some other lessons relating to this onto Teams. There's a PowerPoint on there, and there's some questions and some worksheets to go with this as well. So if you want to look on there, Isabel, today I am happy that we do this one as we're doing. Obviously your lesson today would normally be from 10:10 today, and that would be going into break, which we've just started, and then that would be going over to the next lesson. So I'm happy if you're doing this for today. This is your lesson. If I can see pictures of what you've done today, and I want to see you've done it. You want to send me films, videos, or pictures, that's all good as evidence of what you've done. Remember the normal online rules for streaming. Online rules for streaming. We don't need to see your face unless you're happy and your parents are happy that that's in the picture. If you're taking photos, please, because you'll be taking photos at home, can we do it in an area where it's appropriate, i.e. nice blank colours behind you or in a kitchen maybe, and can you make sure you're suitably attired if you're taking photos as well. So there we go, Isabel. Today this is your lesson. Worksheet, the worksheet and leaflets. Yes, Isabel, there are worksheets and leaflets, worksheets that you can do on Teams to take you over the next couple of lessons, both theory lessons as well. All the stuff to be done for half term. You can either do it in your workbook, or if you want to, you can use the online workbooks as part of Teams. Thank you. Any more questions there? Let me just check we've got any more questions there. Yep, that's all good. Excellent. A few of you still there. Fabulous. Brilliant. A few of you clicking along at the moment. All right, so let's get on to the next stage then. So we're ready to get everything together. Tell you what, do you want to see if we can get the glass one of those and we can see what's going through happening there. And what we're going to do is you can use, we're looking for something like one of these to go into your oven. Depending on how much mixture you've made, so you could double that recipe as we've been going along. You could have quadrupled the recipe is going on, depending on how many people you're doing. I'm going to swap that one for a glass one so you can kind of see a little bit better what we're up to and what we're doing now. Okay, so we have our cheese. We need to just grate the cheese. We've got our glass pot, so we need to get each element ready. And we're going to start with the pasta. So you say we don't need a pasta machine for this, and you don't need tagliatelles either as well, as we showed you on the little as you saw on the recipe card. So if I just quickly pop to the back to the recipe cards, so you can see what we've got there. I'll go to the pasta one, which I'll post on there for you. There we go. Okay, we'll keep it at the moment. For some reason, that's not wanting to load quite yet. I'll put the recipe back up in a minute. But you don't need a pasta machine. The step-by-steps on how to do it with or without a pasta machine are fine. So what's going on here? Millie is currently just putting some flour on the work surface there. Fabulous. And a little bit of flour on the rolling pin so it doesn't stick when you roll out this pasta. And we're now going to roll it into pasta sheets, so this lasagna sheets. Now, depending on the size of your individual pots, depends on the size of the lasagna sheets you want to make. Really. I mean, a traditional lasagna sheet, you know, every piece of pasta is named after the size or shape that it is. So a traditional pasta sheet, we're looking at kind of like a hand. You've got your tagliatelle, which is kind of like one finger. You've got your pappardelle, which is kind of like two. You've got spaghetti, which is like a string. We're doing a lasagna, so we're looking about a hand, but a little bit more, a little less. No one's going to have a go. You're at home now. That's fine by me. So let's roll that one out. And Millie's just going to roll this one out perfectly. And it's nice long. We can just keep it nice and long. There we go. Just keep rolling that one nice and long. So how does this work? How would it be more efficient if we use this as a pasta machine? Well, the thing with a pasta machine is you've got those two rolling pins going past each other, and those can get progressively closer together, which is going to make a very thin pasta. What is the perfect thin? How thin should pasta be? What is the perfect thickness of pasta? Well, the Italians say you should be able to read a newspaper through it. So if you hold that one up to the light, you should be able to see through it. Okay, so that's kind of consistency we're looking for, the thinness we're looking for. That's where we're up to. But if you struggle getting there with the rolling pin, that's fine. You're meal at home here today, okay? So I'm not going to have a go at anyone for not doing it there. If you're using a pasta machine, you would be able to get it, and you go through from different levels. There's 7 different levels of thickness you can go as you bring those rolling pins closer and closer together to squeeze that longer and longer. But traditionally, it would be done by hand, and it would be rolled out, and we get it into nice long pieces of pasta. Now, once you've got yourself your really long piece, we're going to use a knife. We're going to cut up the pasta into the individual sheets, or as one of you just said there, you can use shop bought pasta if you want to. It's going to be fine as well. That won't matter on that as well. The reason we like to do this one is, like I say, it's got those added vitamins and minerals that you've got going on inside the egg, and all the other, you've got macro and micronutrients that you're going to find inside the egg there that are going to help and make it a little bit healthier for you. But for the construction of a delicious dish, we will be happy today with using what ingredients we can all get our hands on. It's all about trying to do that at the moment and using up what we've got, using up your couple of essentials to get the best possible food out of it. So we've got now we're getting up to about half a meter's worth of pasta here, as we just roll that longer and longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. Okay, if it starts to stick, obviously a bit more flour on there, but I think we're getting a good piece of pasta going on there. Quite a bit there. What do you think, Millie? Yeah. That's a nice piece of pasta there. We've got quite a long length of pasta there going. And roll a bit more. On that piece, and we'll flip it over and we'll get it even more Whisk. So just rolling that through so we get a nice long piece. Just cut that one up into its individual pieces. There we go. Right, that's 7 pieces of pasta. Great. So we're now, and as we're doing that, we're also working that the dough, and we are creating more of that gluten, which is stretchy and elastic, which does mean that as you start to roll it out more, it's slightly harder as it works against you, but it also means you're going to get something stretchy and easier to use. Right, we're going to cut that one up into squares. So let's look at our dish. So we need to use the dish as a template. Just use into slice at the end there. Massive sheets of pasta here. We're going to go now. We're going to jumbo sheets of pasta. There we go. All right, so we've got some jumbo sheets of pasta. Our lasagna is going to be huge here, but you can make them smaller. You can overlap the lasagna sheets when you're doing this one. That's going to be fine. Don't worry about that. Okay. Edges off. Okay, so we've got a very large lasagna sheet, probably equivalent to a couple of lasagna sheets there, which is going to go into our base. We're going to do another piece just like that one. Do you want to go and get the white sauce, two sauces over? Got cheese as well, haven't we? Okay, so I'm just chopping up slices over. So we've got a few slices of lasagna sheet over there. Brilliant. And we've got our two sauces. We've got our white sauce. And we've got our misi sauce there to combine it all together. So now is the fun bit. While we're waiting for the oven to preheat, we can start to put all of this together. So we're going to start with a little bit of meat into the bottom of there. So if you've got a spoon, yeah, that's the idea. Big spoon, big spoon. Okay, I've got a big spoon. We've got a big spoon. We're going to put that into there. And we just put that enough. And spread that one on the base. So we're going to create our first layer on the base there. A little bit more, yeah. Just you want it very thin in there. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay. Get a lasagna sheet on there. Okay. So we've now got lasagna. We've got the sauce on the bottom, the red sauce. We've got the lasagna sheet. We'll start spooning some of the white sauce on top of that one. Okay, white sauce on top of that. Cool. So, high-level dish for a GCSE. You've made yourself two different sauces here. Reduction sauce. You've made a gelatinized white Roux sauce, which we're going to be putting in there. All of that together, two sauces, pasta making. Then we're going to bake all of that off together. You've got a couple of different cooking techniques there with the frying and the baking, and they're going on. A lot going on in this. That's why this one's such a lovely, high-skilled dish there. Okay, happy with that? Okay, we're going to put the pasta sheet on the top there. On the top of that, lay that one out on there. Okay, we'll put some more tomato on there then. There we go. Put that one all out. Perfect, wonderful. There we go. Yeah, you can put all of that on if you want. Put that one all out. Wonderful. Right to the edges. More you can squeeze in that. Don't want to waste food at the moment. Let's get all of that in there. Wonderful. Last one in there, I think, for that one. And then we're going to, now when you're doing this one, you're going to try and finish with a white sauce on the top, and then we'll put the cheese in there. And maybe put a bit of the cheese in the white sauce when she was over there. But we're going to be putting a little bit more of the white sauce in there. Okay. So once you're doing that, right? So sheet first. Now I'll put that one away. Clear the decks a little bit here. Sorry, just going to clean the decks a bit. So pasta up on the top, and then white sauce. Pasta. Wonderful. So we've got our last piece of pasta on there, and then we're going to just fill that over the top with all the white sauce that we've got. Yep, all of that, and just literally. Sorry, it's nice cheese. All of that. Right, we're going to scoop that out. Okay. All that onto the top. Spread it all out. Any bits in the sides? Okay. Now, where is that last bit of cheese? really likes her cheese, don't you? You like your cheese a lot. So we're going to be putting the cheese on the top then. All right. Okay. There we go. Lots of cheese on top. I hear that's just a little bit too much. That's certainly more than 25 grams of cheese. It's probably about double that. Okay, so we've got tons of cheese on ours. So yeah, lots of cheese on ours. We have got our lasagna ready to go here. Okay, oven gloves. All right. Don't get getting stuff in and out of the ovens. Health and safety there. Make sure you've got your oven gloves on. Right, I'm going to get that into the preheated oven. Yeah. Fabulous. It's going to take one over there. I'm just going to put that one into the middle. There we go. Just put that one into the middle there. So just going to write that one in. There we go. Just see everything. There we go. Wonderful. Okay. So we're now going to leave that one for a minute, and now it's time we need to go back to all of you. Where are you? That's fine. That's fine. Right, time for you to start washing up now, girls. You need to be making sure that you have properly washed and dried everything. So can you please make sure you have done that? We need to make sure that all your sides are cleaned down. You need to collect all the equipment you used. You need to wash everything up using the right method. You need to dry and clean everything using a tea towel, putting everything away once checked. Okay, you need to make sure that your whole kitchen area is looking great. Okay, so can we make sure you are doing that? Make sure you are doing that and your kitchen is lovely. Otherwise, I'm going to get lots of complaints from parents that we haven't done that. So let me just go get your list of things up there that you should be doing right this very second. There we go. Washing up and clearing up. So collect all of the equipment used, wash everything up using the right method, dry and clean using tea towel, and put everything away once checked by a teacher. Well, with this case, it's not going to be a teacher, it's going to be you and your folks, because I'm not there in the kitchen. However, I do like to see a nice clean plug hole still, and I still want to make sure that everything is washed up. So can we make sure, especially with everything that's going on at the moment, can we use hot soapy water? I don't want silly bits of water. If you have to cheat with a dishwasher, I guess you're at home, that will be okay. But let's make sure you've cleaned up nicely and make sure we can do some more of these ones and more of these lessons like this for the future. Okay, let me just send myself back to you. There we go. Right, so we're just, Millie's just doing that now. So you're just making sure you're washing up everything. Make sure you're running hot soapy water into there. Get the plug into there and get your hot soapy water running. There we go. Right, so while Millie is washing up, I'm going to washing up nicely in the background there. So just to recap on everything that we've done, and that is your lessons for today. If you've not been able to cook along today, that's fine. You've been taking part, but I will put flour there. About me messy up. Clear it up. We've got flour everywhere. Right, so make sure that you clean up everything yourself. So that's your lesson for today. If you are unable to cook today, that's fine. There's some worksheets that you used to do and get those in. You can do those on the online workbooks that are as part of Teams. The worksheets are there already. You can do those ones and then post them in, copy them and put them into your worksheets, or do them online that way. If you are keen to stay, fabulous. That's your lesson for today. You have cooked. You are doing well. But I do want to see as part of that your photographs or videos of finished products, and to say the best of those. Like yesterday's Year 8 lessons, I will post onto the school Facebook so you can see what you've been doing. Right, any questions from anybody? Any of the girls? Any of you got any questions that you want to ask before we finish for today's lessons? Give you a couple of minutes. While you're doing that one, just go recap on what we've done there. So we've done yourself a high-level piece of work. You've made yourself a white sauce, which you've used doing the roux. You've made using the roux method rather than all-in-one blended method, or all-in-one putting them together. You've made yourself a beautiful roux sauce. You've made it into not a pouring or a binding empanada. You've made yourself the middle one there, a nice coating white sauce. You've made a reduction sauce there. Are you using the tomatoes, onions, garlic, and whatever other seasoning you want to do, and what sort of mince you wanted to get into that one? And then finally you've been making your own pasta there, fresh egg pasta, which you have combined and then shaped and rolled out as well to go into that. So and finally obviously put the whole thing into the oven to cook. So if you've done that, very well done. You've done quite a lot of tasks there and quite a lot of skills, and we even managed to get a few little bits of food science in there with gelatinization, caramelization we in there as well, and looked at other aspects of it. So very well done. I can't see any more comments. Oh, we got there one more. Let's have a look. We've got somebody else just made one more comment. How long do we cook it for? That is a very good question, and it will depend a little bit on the what size or the amount you've been doing. If you've been doing a massive, big, large one like that, you're going to need a larger, you're going to need a longer amount of cooking time. If you've done a little small one like us, you're going to need a little cooking time. But if I just go back to the recipe there, let's have a look. We go back to it. You need to be doing that one for the large ones. You're looking at about 45 minutes. So that larger one, you'd probably be looking at half an hour to 45 minutes. For the smaller one we've just done there, you'd be looking at nearer 20 minutes. So it'll depend on how much you've made, and it will also depend on how how big piece you've made onto that one. So thank you very much. Yeah. Right. Excellent. Any other questions? So that was a good question. How long do we cook for? I should have said that one right at the very beginning. So we're going to be putting ours in for half an hour to 45 minutes. You're looking for a nice golden top to the the pasta itself will take very little time to cook though, so you don't need to worry so much about that. And obviously the other two sauces are already cooked. What's going to be a good indicator? That's a good question of when it's done, and the answer to that one is it lovely and golden brown on the top, bubbling away a golden brown? That will be you done. Again, that's going to depend on the amount, how big you've done, the sizes you've done, but you have cooked all the different elements, with the exception of the pasta already, and the pasta being a fresh egg pasta will take a little less time than normal to do. If you're doing a dried pasta, then obviously you need to be cooking that one within the sauce, and that one will take at least 20 minutes for the pasta to cook when it's in as part of the meal. On the other hand, if you're doing a fresh one, it's less. Any other questions for me today? No? No? Thank you, Millie. Thank you for joining us in my kitchen today, to your kitchen. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and hopefully that's been a good lesson. And it means that you don't have to, you can still have had a practical lesson if you've been able to do that once today, and that will be your double lesson for today. So well done, congratulations. Be good, take care of yourselves, be safe with everything that's going on. I wish you all the best, and I will post up the next of our practicals. I'll post up another video again. And even if you move on the rotation, I'll still make these open to everybody in the year so that anyone else can get hold of these videos later on and watch them. All right, thank you very much. It's been great to see you. I'm going to let you get on for the rest of your day for the other of your lessons. So actually, we've gone over break. So you've gone into your second lesson, you got into the next lesson, but you need to give you a break. You can now have a break before your following lesson. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.